18. At Guanyin Hall, the Tang monk leaves his ordeal. At Gao village, the great sage casts out the monster. Pilgrim took leave of the Bodhisattva. Lowering the direction of his cloud, he hung the cassock on one of the fragrant cedars nearby. He took out his rod and fought his way into the Black Wind Cave. But where could he find even a single little demon inside? The fact of the matter was that when they saw the Bodhisattva's epiphany, causing the old monster to roll all over the ground, they all scattered. Pilgrim, however, was not to be stopped. He piled dried wood around the several doorways in the cave and started a fire in the front and in the back. The whole Black Wind Cave was reduced to a Red Wind Cave. Picking up the cassock, Pilgrim then mounted the auspicious luminosity and went north. We now tell you about Tripitaka, who was impatiently waiting for Pilgrim's return and wondering whether Bodhisattva had consented to come and help, or whether Pilgrim on some pretext had left him. He was filled with such foolish thoughts and wild speculations when he saw bright, rose-colored clouds approaching in the sky. Dropping at the foot of the steps and kneeling, Pilgrim said, "Master, the cassock is here." Tripitaka was most delighted, and not one of the monks could hide his pleasure. "Good, good," they cried. "Now we've found our lives again." Taking the cassock, Tripitaka said, "Wukong, when you left in the morning, you promised to come back either after breakfast or sometime around noon. Why do you return so late, when the sun is already setting?" Pilgrim then gave a thorough account of how he went to ask for the Bodhisattva's help, and how she in her transformation had subdued the monster. When Tripitaka heard the account, he prepared an incense table at once and worshipped, facing south. Then he said, "Disciple, since we have the Buddha robe, let us pack up and leave." "No need to rush like that," said Pilgrim. "It's getting late, hardly the time to travel. Let's wait until tomorrow morning before we leave." All the monks knelt down and said, "Elder son is right. It is getting late and, moreover, we have a vow to fulfill. Now that we are all saved and the treasure has been recovered, we must redeem our vow and ask the venerable elders to distribute the blessing. Tomorrow we shall see you off to the west." "Yes, yes, that's very good," said Pilgrim. "Look at those monks. They all emptied their pockets and presented all the valuables they had managed to salvage from the fire. Everyone made some contribution. They prepared some vegetarian offerings, burned paper money to request perpetual peace, and recited several scrolls of scriptures for the prevention of calamities and deliverance from evil. The service lasted until late in the evening. The next morning, they saddled the horse and took up the luggage, while the monks accompanied their guests for a great distance before turning back. As Pilgrim led the way forward, it was the happiest time of spring. You see the horse making light tracks on grassy turfs, gold threads of willow swaying with fresh dew. Peaches and apricots fill the forest gay. Creepers grow with vigor along the way. Pairs of sun-warmed ducks rest on sandy hanks. The brook's fragrant flowers tame the butterflies. Thus autumn goes, winter fades, and spring's half gone. When will merit be made and the true writ found? Master and disciple traveled for some 6 or 7 days in the wilderness. One day, when it was getting late, they saw a village in the distance. "Wukong?" said Tripitaka. "Look, there's a village over there. How about asking for lodging for the night before we travel again tomorrow? Let's wait until I have determined whether it is a good or bad place before we decide," said Pilgrim. The master pulled in the reins as Pilgrim stared intently at the village. Truly there were dense rows of bamboo fences, thick clusters of thatched huts. Skyscraping wild trees faced the doorways. The winding brooklet reflected the houses. Willows by the path unfurled their lovely green. Fragrant were the flowers blooming in the yard, at this time of twilight fast fading. The birds chattered everywhere in the woods. As kitchen smoke arose, cattle returned on every lane and path. You saw, too, well-fed pigs and chickens sleeping by the house's edge. And the old, soted neighbor coming with a song. After surveying the area, Pilgrim said, "Master, you may proceed. It appears to be a village of good families, where it will be appropriate for us to seek shelter." The priest urged the white horse on, and they arrived at the beginning of a lane heading into the village, where they saw a young man wearing a cotton head wrap and a blue jacket. He had an umbrella in his hand and a bundle on his back. His trousers were rolled up, and he had on his feet a pair of straw sandals with 3 loops. He was striding along the street in a resolute manner when Pilgrim grabbed him, saying, "Where are you going? I have a question for you. What is this place?" Struggling to break free, the man protested, "Isn't there anyone else here in the village? Why must you pick me for your question?" "Patron," said Pilgrim genially, "don't get upset. Helping others is in truth helping yourself. What's so bad about your telling me the name of this place? Perhaps I can help you with your problems." Unable to break out of Pilgrim's grip, the man was so infuriated that he jumped about wildly. "Jinxed! I'm jinxed!" he cried. "No end to the grievances I have suffered at the hands of my family elders, and I still have to run into this bald-headed fellow and suffer such indignity from him. If you have the ability to pry open my hand," said Pilgrim, "I'll let you go." The man twisted left and right without any success. It was as if he had been clamped tight with a pair of iron tongs. He became so enraged that he threw away his bundle and his umbrella. With both hands, he rained blows and scratches on Pilgrim. With one hand steadying his luggage, Pilgrim held off the man with the other, and no matter how hard the man tried, he could not scratch or even touch Pilgrim at all. The more he fought, the firmer was Pilgrim's grip, so that the man was utterly exasperated. "Wukong?" said Tripitaka. "Isn't someone coming over there? You can ask someone else. Why hang onto him like that? Let the man go." "Master, you don't understand," said Pilgrim, laughing. "If I ask someone else, all the fun will be gone. I have to ask him if, as the saying goes, there's going to be any business." Seeing that it was fruitless to struggle any more, the man said finally, "This place is called the Mr. Gao village in the territory of the Kingdom of Coco. Most of the families here in the village are surnamed Gao, and that's why the village is so called. Now please let me go. You are hardly dressed for a stroll in the neighborhood," said Pilgrim. "So tell me the truth. Where are you going, and what are you doing anyway? Then I'll let you go." The man had little alternative but to speak the truth. "I'm a member of the family of old Mr. Gao, and my name is Gao Tai. Old Mr. Gao has a daughter, his youngest, in fact, who is 20 years old, and not yet betrothed. 3 years ago, however, a monster spirit seized her and kept her as his wife. Having a monster as his son-in-law bothered old Mr. Gao terribly. He said, 'My daughter having a monster as her spouse can hardly be a lasting arrangement. First, my family's reputation is ruined, and second, I don't even have any in-laws with whom we can be friends.' All that time he wanted to have this marriage annulled, but the monster absolutely refused. He locked the daughter up instead in the rear building, and would not permit her to see her family for nearly half a year. The old man, therefore, gave me several taels of silver and told me to find an exorcist to capture the monster. Since then, I have hardly rested my feet. I managed to turn up 3 or 4 persons, all worthless monks and impotent Taoists. None of them could subdue the monster. A short while ago, I received a severe scolding for my incompetence, and with only half an ounce more of silver as a travel allowance, I was told to find a capable exorcist this time. I didn't expect to run into you, my unlucky star, and now my journey is delayed. That's what I meant by the grievances I had suffered in and out of the family, and that's why I was protesting just now. I didn't know you had this trick of holding people, which I couldn't overcome. Now that I have told you the truth, please let me go. It's really your luck," said Pilgrim. "Coupled with my vocation, They fit like the numbers 4 and 6 when you throw the dice. You needn't travel far, nor need you waste your money. We are not worthless monks or impotent Taoists, for we really do have some abilities. We are most experienced, in fact, in capturing monsters. As the saying goes, you have now not only a caring physician, but now you have cured your eyes as well. Please take the trouble of returning to the head of your family, and tell him that we are holy monks sent by the throne in the land of the East, to go worship Buddha in the Western heaven and acquire scriptures. We are most capable of seizing monsters and binding fiends. Don't mislead me, said Gao Tai. For I've had it up to here. If you are deceiving me and really don't have the ability to take the monster, you will only cause me more grievances. Pilgrim said, I guarantee that you won't be harmed in any way. Lead me to the door of your house. The man could not think of a better alternative. He picked up his bundle and umbrella and turned to lead master and disciple to the door of his house. You two elders, he said, please rest yourselves for a moment against the hitching posts here. I'll go in to report to my master. Only then did Pilgrim release him. Putting down the luggage and dismounting from the horse, master and disciple stood and waited outside the door. Gao Tai walked through the main gate and went straight to the main hall in the center, but it just so happened that he ran right into old Mr. Gao.